And what we're talking about is not a Chernobyl, we're actually talking about a Hiroshima.
A chilling report warns Lawrence Livermore lab could be vulnerable to a terrorist attack with the potential for a nuclear disaster.
Now, complete Bay Area news coverage. This is the 10 o'clock news on KTVU Channel 2.
Up next on tonight's 10 o'clock news, a KTVU special report looks at the potential for nuclear disaster right here in the Bay Area. See why a prominent lab may be vulnerable and why it is exactly the kind of place that terrorists might target. A new report obtained by KTVU Channel 2 News concludes that the Bay Area's Lawrence Livermore labs are vulnerable to a devastating terrorist attack. The report was prepared by a respected government watchdog group and warns of the potential for a Hiroshima-scale nuclear disaster that could contaminate the entire Bay Area. KTVU political editor Randy Shandabil has this special report.
There are more than a dozen government weapons labs in the United States, but only this one, the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, is so close to homes. In fact, the lab's perimeter is just across the street from families with children.
We conduct research on weapons-grade plutonium.
And
just a very small amount of weapons-grade, highly enriched uranium.
Plutonium and uranium, perhaps the two materials most desired by terrorist groups. And according to the Washington-based Project on Government Oversight, also known as POGO, Livermore is vulnerable to a devastating terrorist attack, more vulnerable than other labs.
What we're talking about is not a Chernobyl, we're actually talking about a Hiroshima.
Even the Bush administration acknowledges the potential for terrorist attacks here.
Here, al-Qaeda operatives placed breaching charges on the door.
Just over a year ago, the Department of Energy produced this videotape and sent it to government installations around the country. It warns of vulnerabilities.
Platter charges are powerful directional devices that can be set up, aimed, and detonated outside a perimeter and used to penetrate fences, structure walls, and other solid objects. Has your timeline analysis taken into account these modern threat capabilities?
Livermore lab officials say they have. The plutonium and uranium are kept in high-security vaults about 800 yards inside the lab's perimeter in a building we can't show you for security reasons. It's surrounded by this netting.
Our vaults are impenetrable where this plutonium is stored.
And to get to the vaults, terrorists would have to clear many layers of security. Barriers block vehicles. Bomb-sniffing dogs and armed guards search all trucks and cars, and inside there are computerized cameras everywhere and more barricades being bolstered as we speak. Still, POGO and a local Livermore group, Tri-Valley Cares, want the Bush administration to move all of the plutonium and uranium out of here.
In the event of any accident or terror attack, this whole area could be made uninhabitable. We have 7 million people living within a 50-mile radius of Livermore Lab.
Much of the same research is already being done at Los Alamos in New Mexico, a more remote location. Better yet, according to POGO, move the plutonium to the Nevada test site, which has underground facilities and is surrounded by desert. Sounds good, but lab officials say
there are environmental considerations, there are populations where this material would go who would probably have a voter's say into whether or not it went there and how so and at what time.
And history would indicate there'd be controversy in the other places.
Yes, and history shows us that our two attempts to remove materials from this site have been ongoing for over a decade and neither one has been successful yet.
In fact, now the Bush administration is thinking about storing more plutonium here. You would think that with homes and businesses just across the street here that this lab would have security equal to or even superior to the security at other labs in more remote areas. But critics say that actually there's less security here. The guards have fewer automatic weapons in Livermore and no counterterrorism explosives.
The same materials are at other facilities in the United States, and they are being protected with more serious weapons. The guards have more lethal weapons than they have at Livermore.
Lab officials acknowledge their weapons are less powerful. They say that's because children could be playing just across the street.
We design our protection strategy in such a way that it keeps trajectory from going off-site. We're concerned about our neighbors, want to protect our neighbors, but we feel we can do a very adequate job of protecting the assets on-site without putting any of our neighbors at risk.
Most people who live nearby seem satisfied.
I've been here for 10 years. My husband's family's been here for the last 20 years, and I don't believe they have any safety issues or concerns.
Nah, I don't worry about it at all. They're doing their job. They supply a lot of people with jobs around here, making money, you know.
In fact, more people are moving in right next door. New homes going up, all of them listed for more than $1 million. In Livermore, political editor Randy Shandabell, KTVU Channel 2 News.